It is possible that the ancient astronauts taught the Egyptians that mummification was a way of preserving their genetic information in the DNA.
The DNA of King Tutankhamun has finally been decoded. And what scientists have discovered is sending shockwaves through the world of history. But what hidden truth lies within the boy king's bloodline? And how could it change everything we thought we knew about one of ancient Egypt's most famous rulers? Prepare to uncover the secrets that history tried to keep buried. The boy king who slept in gold. Hen people reflect on the ancient civilization of Egypt. One particular individual stands out amidst all others: Tutankhamun, the youthful pharaoh. His reign was brief and gentle, commencing when he was just a child of 9 and concluding before his 20th birthday. Nonetheless, his narrative has captivated the imaginations of people worldwide for more than a century. For millennia, his name remained hidden beneath layers of sand and hushed by the passage of time, nearly erased from the annals of history. He did not achieve greatness through conquest like Ramses, nor did he leave behind monumental architectural wonders like Khufu. His era did not produce grand temples or celebrated triumphs, but destiny had other plans in store. What went overlooked by history was ultimately safeguarded by chance. The rediscovery of Tutankhamun's story started many centuries later, during the early 1900s. The Valley of the Kings, where Egypt's most powerful kings were laid to rest, had already been explored and looted by both archaeologists and thieves. From 1905 to 1914, a man named Theodore Davis had permission to excavate there. He uncovered various tombs, including those belonging to Yuya and Thuya, the parents of Queen Tiye. However, as time passed, Davis began to lose faith. The tombs he discovered were intriguing, but not particularly remarkable. He did find some items with Tutankhamun's name on them: small knobs, handles, and a selection of embalming materials. Thinking that he had already found the lost tomb of the young pharaoh, he announced that the Valley of the Kings had been thoroughly explored. He was completely mistaken. In 1907, the emergence of British archaeologist Howard Carter added a new dimension to the narrative. Employed by Lord Carnarvon, an affluent Englishman with a keen interest in Egypt, Carter initiated his quest in the valley. Over a span of years, the duo devoted their efforts to the expedition, making gradual progress with small findings that failed to make a significant impact. Despite facing setbacks, Carter remained steadfast in his conviction that Tutankhamun's tomb was buried somewhere beneath the desert landscape. He embarked on a meticulous and prolonged exploration in 1915 that lasted for 7 years. The valley was scorching, serene, and dusty. Many on his team were skeptical about finding anything. Despite doubts, Carter persevered. Finally, in the early part of November in 1922, his determination bore fruit. During the process of removing debris and rubble, an employee stumbled upon the upper part of a staircase hidden beneath layers of sand. Carter instructed the crew to excavate cautiously. As they progressed, each step unveiled additional mystery. Eventually, the stairs led to a locked door, adorned with the symbols of a monarch, Tutankhamun. What came next would be remembered as a significant event in the annals of archaeology. Carter created a tiny opening in the door and looked inside using a candle. Inside, he was met with the sight of gold and various treasures that had remained undisturbed for millennia. The tomb remained untouched, with its seal perfectly preserved. It appeared as if time itself had paused to protect the final resting place of the youthful ruler. The world stood astonished when the doorway was fully opened. The tomb, later named KP 62, held breathtaking treasures that exceeded every expectation. Inside were golden shrines stacked atop one another, elegant alabaster figures, chariots, weapons, and jewel-encrusted collars. Every corner was filled with chairs, beds, and small figures, all layered with precious gold that glowed beneath lamplight like sunlight reflecting on the Nile. The funerary mask, formed from pure gold and decorated with colored stones and blue glass, was regarded as the most magnificent treasure. Its calm and beautiful expression came to symbolize Egypt itself, revealing a window into a distant past. What made this discovery truly extraordinary was its remarkable preservation. Unlike many royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings that had been looted long ago, Tutankhamun's tomb survived untouched. Fate played a role in keeping his burial hidden. Debris from a nearby tomb buried the entrance. Later, workers built huts above the concealed doorway, unknowingly protecting it from thieves and explorers for more than 3,000 years. Every object uncovered carried its own story, stories of belief, devotion, and love that endured through time. The detailed animal-shaped beds crafted from gold suggested the luxurious paradise Egyptians envisioned in the afterlife. Weapons and chariots reflected the young pharaoh's dreams of strength and victory beyond death. Containers, ornaments, and clothing displayed the remarkable craftsmanship of Egyptian artists. Each piece offered a silent glimpse into a lost world rediscovered in peaceful stillness. Tutankhamun's burial chamber was smaller than those of other rulers, yet it held immense historical importance. It offered insight into royal life during Egypt's 18th dynasty. The tomb revealed the lavish lifestyles of kings, how they were honored after death, and the deep spiritual beliefs ancient Egyptians held about the afterlife. But how did the historical world react to the discovery? Stay with us. The mystery that fascinated the world. The global fascination was instant. Newspapers across the globe published stories about the priceless treasures uncovered by Howard Carter. Tutankhamun's glowing face, with its calm eyes and flawless features, appeared everywhere. People who had never cared for ancient history suddenly spoke of the young king whose tomb had remained sealed for centuries. Egypt, long wrapped in mystery and legend, captured imaginations worldwide. Yet the excitement soon turned darker. After the sudden death of Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's financial supporter, only months after the tomb's opening, whispers of a curse began spreading. Many believed Tutankhamun was seeking vengeance from beyond the grave against those who disturbed his eternal sleep. Accounts of strange accidents and unexplained illnesses among those who entered the tomb intensified public fear. Although scholars dismissed the idea as superstition, the stories added drama to the discovery. Tutankhamun's tomb offered the modern world intrigue, beauty, and danger all at once. Its importance went beyond gold and riches, touching history itself. Still, deeper questions surfaced beyond the splendor. The identity of this young king, buried in a small, hurriedly built tomb, confused many. What caused his early death before reaching adulthood? The treasures spoke of power and belief, but not of the boy behind them. His mask showed elegance, yet his remains held the true story. Mysteries science would spend decades trying to solve. Even now, the world gazes upon that golden face and wonders about the fragile king who achieved immortality. The quiet mysteries of a child ruler. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb shed light on ancient Egyptian burial customs. The treasures uncovered reflected their deep belief in life after death, devotion to their gods, and love for beauty. Yet, with every answer uncovered, new questions emerged. One enduring mystery that has lasted for more than a century is the unanswered question surrounding the premature death of Egypt's boy king. Since the 1920s, questions have lingered regarding the unwrapping of the mummy. Howard Carter and his team, working with outdated tools and limited knowledge, failed to understand the fragility of the remains. Their eagerness to study the body resulted in accidental damage that would complicate research for decades. Bones were broken, and the body was soaked in resin, making detailed examination extremely difficult. Among all the damage, one fracture on the skull drew particular attention. From that single detail arose one of archaeology's most well-known theories, that Tutankhamun had been murdered. Many believed someone had struck the young king's head, ending his life far too soon. This theory gained support because Egypt was experiencing political unrest and power struggles during his reign. Akhenaten, Tutankhamun's father, had disrupted tradition by closing temples and forcing worship of a single god, Aten. After Akhenaten died, the kingdom descended into disorder. Tutankhamun, only 9 years old, was placed on the throne amid the chaos. Powerful advisors, military leaders, and priests surrounded him, likely controlling him as a figurehead. If he tried to rule independently, he may have created dangerous enemies. In a world where power often came through betrayal, a secret killing would not have seemed unusual. For much of the 20th century, this idea fascinated scholars and the public alike. The thought of palace intrigue, a young king betrayed by those closest to him, deepened the sorrow and mystery of Tutankhamun's story. As science advanced, so did the search for truth. New technologies allowed researchers to move beyond legends and speculation. In the early 2000s, detailed CT scans of the mummy revealed an unexpected result. The skull injury was not caused by a fatal blow. Instead, it likely occurred after death, possibly from Carter's handling or hardened embalming substances. This discovery weakened the assassination theory. Shortly afterward, another explanation emerged, that Tutankhamun died in a chariot accident. Scans showed injuries like broken ribs and damage to one leg, fitting the idea of a fall or crash. It created a dramatic image of Egypt's young ruler meeting an untimely end in a tragic accident. This theory briefly captured public attention and spread widely in the media. However, scientific study continued. Closer inspection of the bones showed the injuries did not match those caused by violent crashes. Many fractures were old or happened after death. Gradually, a new understanding formed, less dramatic, but more human. Tutankhamun was not strong or physically healthy. He suffered from a clubfoot that made walking painful. Signs in his spine and bones revealed ongoing health problems. His body reflected fragility instead of physical power. DNA testing offered clearer answers. The results showed the young pharaoh carried traces of malaria, a dangerous illness in ancient times. Alongside weak bones and visible deformities, it became clear he lived with chronic sickness throughout his short life. His death was unlikely caused by betrayal or accident, but rather by the limited medical knowledge of his time failing to treat his frailty and disease. Still, one important question remained unresolved. What caused Tutankhamun's poor health from the start? Although Egypt had produced powerful rulers with long reigns and monumental achievements, this young king seemed burdened with a body overwhelmed by illness. Scholars then turned their attention from his life to his ancestry. DNA studies revealed Tutankhamun was born from closely related parents, likely the result of a union between his father, Akhenaten, and one of his sisters. Such royal marriages were common, meant to preserve the pharaoh's divine bloodline. Yet they carried serious risks. Repeated intermarriage across generations often led to severe genetic conditions, weakening even royal families. Tutankhamun's ailments, including his clubfoot and early death, may have resulted from the pursuit of bloodline purity. To truly understand Tutankhamun, one must look beyond his lavish tomb and untimely passing. Stay with us. The lineage behind the golden mask. His life was deeply shaped by the dramatic and revolutionary Amarna period of ancient Egyptian history. This era belonged to his predecessor, Pharaoh Akhenaten, whose reign permanently altered Egypt's religious and political foundations. Egypt traditionally worshipped many gods, supported by temples and priests devoted to deities like Amun, Osiris, Isis, and Hathor. Religion guided nearly every aspect of daily life, influencing farming, rituals, and festivals. Yet Akhenaten chose to challenge tradition by promoting the worship of a single god, Aten, symbolized by the sun's glowing disk. He took radical actions, closing temples of the old gods, redirecting priestly wealth, and founding a new capital city dedicated entirely to Aten's worship. It was a bold vision that brought instability. Once powerful priests of Amun saw their influence vanish. Temples that had stood for generations were abandoned. Ordinary Egyptians, used to praying to many gods for protection, felt confused and fearful. Akhenaten's religious revolution reshaped beliefs and shook the very foundation of Egyptian society. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt fell into chaos and uncertainty. A small boy, Tutankhamun, ascended the throne at merely 9 years old. He inherited not only the crown, but also the duty of restoring harmony to a divided nation. Guided by experienced advisors and powerful military figures, he came to embody renewal and unity. With their guidance, the ancient temples reopened, and the people returned to their traditional acts of worship. Tutankhamun's change of name reflected an important spiritual shift. Initially called Tutankhaten, meaning living image of Aten, his name became Tutankhamun, meaning living image of Amun, marking a return to long-held beliefs and reverence for Egypt's ancient gods. This change expressed the renewed bond with Egypt's core values and the revived honor given to the deities of earlier generations. Yet beneath this restoration lay a complex and personal story. The mystery of Tutankhamun's ancestry. The famous Nefertiti, wife of his father, remains a celebrated figure from antiquity, immortalized in a striking bust that still fascinates many today. Even so, whether she was Tutankhamun's biological mother has fueled debate throughout history. Art from Akhenaten's reign showed the royal family in tender moments, marked by gentle forms and distinctive beauty. These images raised questions about the children shown with the royal couple, and which queen gave birth to the boy who would become pharaoh. While some believed Nefertiti was his mother, others argued it may have been another, lesser-known wife, or possibly a royal sister. The mystery grew deeper when Tutankhamun's tomb revealed more than treasure. It revealed sorrow. Inside the tomb, scholars found the mummified remains of 2 infant daughters who died at birth. These heartbreaking discoveries were laid beside their young father, standing as silent symbols of a bloodline ended too soon. Tutankhamun and his wife, Ankhesenamun, who was also his half-sister, had no children who survived infancy. After her husband's sudden death, Ankhesenamun faced a dangerous political world alone. Desperate and uncertain, she contacted a foreign ruler, the king of the Hittites, asking that one of his sons come to Egypt to marry her and rule beside her. This rare appeal exposed the fragile condition of the royal house at the time, and the letters remain preserved in Hittite archives. Yet her plan failed to succeed. The messenger sent by the Hittite Empire to Egypt was reportedly killed before reaching his destination, likely by those resisting foreign control. Power then shifted into the hands of military leaders and advisors, and the once thriving Amarna dynasty ended, giving way to a new royal line. Tutankhamun's ancestry has long intrigued Egyptologists attempting to understand the depth of his time. During the Amarna era, when Egypt briefly adopted monotheism, lasting consequences followed. Tutankhamun's reign brought a return to balance, but also revealed the cost of extreme religious ambition and royal isolation. By the late 20th century, historians uncovered many truths about Tutankhamun's life, yet important mysteries remained unresolved. His mother's identity, the cause of his fragile health and modest tomb, and the short length of his reign continued to confuse scholars. Ancient inscriptions offered limited answers, pushing modern scientists to explore secrets hidden by time. Later genetic studies uncovered shocking truths, confirming that Tutankhamun was born from a sibling union, with both parents descended from Akhenaten. The royal family's pursuit of preserving divine bloodlines created a pattern of weakness and illness. Generations of close intermarriage resulted in inherited physical defects and fragile health, likely shaping the tragic fate of the young king. If you liked this video, subscribe, and also tap the next video displayed on your